Oi, why? Why bang?
Yup. Ya, okay. Alright.
Kalau sedang ni, let lu buat kopi lu.
Yalah.
Bergema lah suara kau.
Hah? Tak
Ikut.
boleh dengar?
Ikut.
Echo, kejap.
Hmm.
How would I go about it? One moment. It's still echoing or what?
I don't think it's a problem with the speaker or whatever. It's the room.
Possibly the room.
Ah,
It's kind of echoey lah.
but it's okay lah. It's not that. I
Hmm.
mean, I can still hear clearly lah. No problem.
Alright, okay
Hmm.
then. So aku pakai baju ni sebab hari ni memang corporate day. So aku
Ya,
need
sama lah kita.
Yalah.
Sihat kan
Sehat alhamdulillah.
Sudah nak masuk ni.
I cannot do it in the office, so I got to do it in the classroom because in the office dia lagi hectic.
Oh, ni classroom.
Yeah?
Is it? This
Yeah,
is
this
your.
is one of my classrooms lah.
Ah,
So boleh kata kontrak classroom aku ni daripada 6 semester lepas.
the same classroom.
The same classroom.
Oh,
So I
gitu.
even got my mineral waters and whatnot, everything here.
Oh, so pelik juga lah.
This classroom is very much you got to make a big turn on in the building. So not many lecturers would like to use this class. So I took this class on for my own.
But it's not like everybody has their own class and just
No,
people
no, no.
come. Okay.
Oh, ada 10 more minutes. Okay.
Uh,
Should I show the slides now or?
tak apalah, let.
Okay, delete
Tunggu.
dulu. Okay, I'm going to close the camera dengan mic kejap. I think I
Okay.
need to take my earbuds.
Okay, sure.
Alright.
Okay. Okay, hello everybody. So we're gonna wait for a few more minutes. I guess our speaker is here already, but number of students is not that high for now. Yeah, basically only around from what from one class and but the we are recording the session in case you lah yeah.
How many are we expecting?
So around 100, right?
Okay, all right.
100 or more. I just remind my students first. Let's just begin lah, yeah. Because let's not waste any more time. Uh, okay, so yeah, so welcome everyone, yeah, to our webinar today. So our webinar today on teaching narrative writing. Okay, so basically we're going to do this. We're going to begin with a dua recitation by what's his name again? Afnan, I think. Is that
Yes.
okay? So Afnan, can you please begin?
Okay. Al-Fatihah. Auzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin arrahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrofil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi washabihi ajmain. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan kami, Tuhan yang menguasai langit dan bumi, hanya padamu sahaja kami panjangkan kesyukuran atas segala rahmat dan berkat-Mu. Bersempena dengan webinar ini, kami mohon hidayah dan taufik-Mu. Kurniakanlah kesejahteraan dan kebahagiaan serta kesihatan jasmani dan rohani. Bukakanlah hati-hati kami, lapangkanlah dada kami untuk menerima ilmu dan pengetahuan serta bimbingan penceramah yang kami kasihi. Ya Allah, ya Rahman, ya Rahim, kami memohon dengan kudrat-Mu dan iradat-Mu. Berikanlah kekuatan dan ketabahan menghadapi perjuangan kami menimba dan mencari ilmu pengetahuan. Anugerahkanlah kejayaan dan kecemerlangan kepada kami dalam semua ujian dan pencapaian. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanah wa qina azabannar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Amin.
Lan, you're muted, Lan.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so let me introduce. Yeah, our guest speaker today, which is Dr. Sophyan Hakim. Yeah, so he's currently teaching in Malaysia University Science of Technology. Yeah, so I think let's not keep him waiting for any longer. Yeah, let's just begin with the webinar today. Okay.
Alright, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alright, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes.
Alright, okay. Today, okay, I'm assigned to deliver a webinar on crafting compelling stories, an introduction to narrative writing. Okay, a bit about myself. I'm from Selangor, Selangor, KL. Okay, I have been teaching for about 25 years, I think, more or less. Okay, so it's an honor, okay, to have about 80 people in this webinar. Okay, all right. I think you can see the slides over there. Okay, is the slides in full?
No, no. I think you should still click on what? The
Yeah, let's see.
just click press F5.
F5 here.
Ah. Eh, bilang terus. Apa ni dekat? Kita tekan apa pian?
Okay, I think I don't know what I touched, and then now I went out and I'm in again. All right.
Okay.
I think let's just do with the one that I am sharing lah. All right. Okay. So I would say that I would say this is an introduction. Okay. I push one button and then poof, I'm out and I'm in again. Okay. It's something that I can share in my next class. All right. So basically, narrative text, okay, has got to do with storytelling, right? The art of storytelling. So I'm sure that the lecturers that we have here, okay, would basically share, your experiences in class and whatnot. Okay, so or maybe the fasting month is nearby, and we would basically celebrate our Hari Raya soon. And during the Hari Raya festival, okay, you might hear stories from your uncles and your aunts and your grandparents and so on. So the art of storytelling and narrative writing, they actually coexist together. Okay. All right. Let's start with my story number one. Okay. The title of the story is Buying Brain in the Year 2020. So allow me, okay, to tell you the story in bahasa Malaysia. Okay. Cerita ini diperkenalkan oleh saya, okay, sekitar tahun 1995, yang di mana wawasan 2020, okay, merupakan aspirasi kami pada masa itu. Okay. So diceritakan kepada saya di tahun 2020 nanti, okay, kita mampu untuk menukar otak. Okay. Jadi ada seorang lelaki, dia disahkan, didiagnose, okay, kanser otak fasa ketiga. Okay, dah berat. Maka dia pergi ke satu shopping mall, ada showroom otak. Maka dia datang dan dia masuk dan dia cerita kepada pegawai yang berada di showroom tersebut, dan dia memperkenalkan kepada lelaki tersebut otak yang pertama. Otak yang pertama ni berwarna putih. Okay, it is as white as what you can see on the screen. Okay, and then lelaki tersebut bertanya, kenapa otak ni berwarna putih dan berapa harganya? Harganya 15,000. Kenapa harganya 15,000? Okey, kerana otak ini sudah digunakan. Digunakan sepenuhnya. Oh, okey. Otak ini otak siapa sebelum ni? Otak ini otak seorang lelaki berbangsa Melayu. Oh, okey. Otak yang kedua, saya tak naklah otak ini berwarna putih, dia dah habis digunakan. Okey. So otak yang kedua berwarna merah. Okey, berwarna merah. Okay. Jadi otak yang ini kenapa berwarna merah? Kerana otak ini dia banyak makan benda-benda yang berwarna merah. Oh, okey. Berapa harga otak ini? 25,000. Wah, mahal sedikit. Oh, saya tak naklah, warna dia menakutkan. Otak yang ketiga tu dia lihat dia satu balang kaca yang cantik. Okey, otak tersebut berwarna pink, okey, berwarna merah jambu. Maka ditanya, ini otak yang macam mana? Ini otak paling mahal, 50,000 harganya. Kenapa harganya mahal? Kerana otak ni tidak digunakan. Okey. The moral of the story is that as you go along, okey, saya ceritakan satu demi satu demi satu. So the gist of narrative writing is that where you carefully, okay, and patiently explain the story one by one. Okay, today what we are going to look at is the basics of narrative writing, the key elements in narrative writing, okay, which are basically the power of strong characters, building an engaging plot, crafting an immersive setting, conflict and resolution, theme, writing with emotion, dialogue and voice, and then you get writing, and of course, common mistakes to avoid, and finally the conclusion and final tips. Now, in narrative writing, as I told you, telling stories is something very, very important. Now let's go to a story that was told to me by a priest when I was a little boy. Story 2 is about 3 lions and the 100 steps to heaven. Now, a priest told me once that there are 3 lions, okay, and they are at the steps of the to the 100 steps that goes to heaven before the pearly gates. So God tell to the lions, if you can climb this 100 steps, you will go straight to heaven. Okay, there are 3 lions. The first one, large, strong. The second lion, medium size, and the third lion is the smallest out of the 3. Okay, the first lion says that I am strong and I will definitely go to heaven compared to you. Goodbye. So the first lion starts to climb the 100 steps. On the 60th step, the large lion fell down out of fatigue. God says, you are arrogant, therefore you are going to be punished. And then the big lion disappeared. The second lion, okay, tried the 100 steps. Okay, the second lion managed to climb 90 steps before the second lion fell down out of fatigue. He was also terminated by God. The third lion was very, very tired, very, very afraid, and he tried to climb the 100 steps. As the third lion finished the 100 steps, the third lion was so tired that he fell. The God says, why you did not walk towards me at the pearly gate? I am so tired. As as God tried to eliminate the third lion says, "Wait up! I climbed the 100 steps. Therefore, I must go to heaven." Then the story ends there because the priest was called, so I couldn't finish the story. Okay, now the story is not finished. Okay, what do you think? Can I get feedback from the students? What do you think of the story? The story is not finished. What do you think? How do you feel? Anyone?
Then,
Cerita tersebut tak habis. Apa you rasa? I feel unsatisfied with the ending. Very good. Okay, Nur Yasmin. Okay, when you are writing narrative piece, okay, you got to ensure that the story has a sort of ending. Whether the ending will let you to think on consequences, or that ending allows you to think of multiple ways of the story's end. Okay, you should not let your write-up, okay, to be hanging. Okay, your story must have a conclusion. Okay, now these are the basics of narrative writing. Now, narrative writing is a form of storytelling that is used to entertain, to inform, or to convey emotions. It involves crafting a sequence of events, characters, and setting to create an engaging experience to the reader. Now, basically, narrative writing tells a story, focuses on plot, character, and setting, and aims to engage the reader emotionally and intellectually. Okay. Now, the key elements of narrative writing, they are characters, okay, the people or the creatures in the story, okay, so the setting, the time, place where the story occurs, plot, the sequence of events that made up the story, conflict, the challenge or the problem that drives the story forward, and theme, the underlying message or the main idea of the story. Now, again, I'm telling you a story. Okay. This story, I think many of you can relate. Okay. It is actually, I'm trying to tell you a story about the scene in Nujum Pak Belalang. Okay. As a matter, in fact, you can see from the image. Okay. So I am trying to mimic the wizard from the Masai Kingdom. Di manakah terletaknya kekuatan Hang Tuah? Di tenaganya kah? Atau pada kerisnya kah? Okay, anyone can give me the answer to that story, to that question? Anyone remembers?
Dekat huruf T.
Pada huruf ta. Kalau sekiranya Hang Tuah itu cuba tukar ta kepada ba, apa bunyinya? Anyone?
Hang Buah.
Hang buah. Apakah Nur Aisyah kenal dengan hang buah?
No.
Alright. No. Okay. Alright. Now, when you hear people telling stories, okay, people will tell you with emotion. Okay, people will tell you with the facial features. Okay, there will be emotion there. There will be hand gestures. There will be body movements. Okay, that will make the story interesting. Okay, why we feel why our emotions are satisfied when we watch a film, okay, is because of the acting, okay. And as the actor tries to tell the story, okay, you will be mesmerized when the storytelling techniques, okay, hit, okay, you as a reader, okay. So this is what narrative writing is all about, all right. The way that you tell the story is as if that when you write your piece, okay, you are telling your story live in front of the reader, right? Okay, let's move on, okay, into the first one, power of strong characters. Now, characters are the heart of any story, okay. Readers, okay, they they must engage with the story to must get in order to stay engaged, okay, the readers must care about the characters. Okay, on characters, the first one, okay, when you are writing, give characters a depth, okay, develop the characters personalities, emotions and flaws, okay, then make your characters relatable. All right, readers should see parts of themselves in your characters. Next, you create conflict. Okay, allow the characters to face challenges and grow through them. Okay, say for example, let's look at all right, let's look at Nujum Pak Belalang just now. Okay, he is a nobody, and then he got a he struck his luck, and then the luck that he got is basically not magic, but basically a coincidence. And then there comes the moment where another wizard came to his kingdom. Okay, so here's the thing, characters must be properly developed. Okay, let's have an example. Okay, you are writing about your father, for example. Okay, say for example the topic of the narrative essay that you are assigned. Okay, write something about my father, your father. Okay, so you got to give the readers, okay, who never met your father, a description. Okay, you got to describe, okay, your father in your essay. Okay, so that is what I said when you got to give characters depth. All right. So how tall is he? Is he fat like me, or is he strong? Okay, or is he old or is he young? Okay, same. Say for example, you are creating a character in your short story, for example. Okay, what sort of a hero, for example? Okay, what sort of hero or what sort of a main character that we are talking about? All right, is it relatable to you or is it relatable to the readers? All right. Okay, let's move on the next one. Building and engaging plot. Now, a plot is basically the whole storyline. Okay, now engaging a plot captures the attention by creating excitement, tension, and resolution. Now, how to build a plot? Okay, first you start with a hook. Okay, and then you capture one moment. Okay, then you capture interest from the very first sentence, and then next you got to establish a conflict within the plot. Okay, make the main problem clear early on. Next, you pace your story. You balance moments of tension and moments of calm. And then you provide resolution. Okay? End with a satisfying conclusion that ties up the main conflict. Now, let's have story number 4. Now, this story was a compilation of stories that I got to know many years ago. It's about the story of a king who ate a hog feet. Okay, So in Burma, in ancient Burma, okay, there was this king who likes to travel in his kingdom. Okay, he likes to meet his subjects. Okay, so one day, okay, he and his entourage, okay, went to a village. Okay, and while walking around the village, okay, the king scented something that he liked, and he asked his advisors, "What smell is this?" So his advisors, okay, went to search for the smell, and it turned out to be that it is a smell of hog feet, of pig food. Okay, and the advisors came back to him and said, "Your Majesty, the smell comes from the house over there, and it is actually the smell of pig food. I advise you not to eat it." "No, I want to eat it. I don't care." Right? So the king went to the house and ate the pig food. All right. So one of the advisors, okay, he couldn't stand the fact that that incident happened. Before the king went back to the palace, the king warned the entire entourage: anyone who tells the story back to the palace will be killed. So that particular advisor was very, very tense. Okay, he could not hide the story, and he felt very, very tense. So what he did during the night, he went to a tree, and that particular tree has a hole, and he released the story into the hole of the tree. A few months have passed. Okay? The king went about around his kingdom again and saw that particular tree, and the king says the tree looks very nice for a drum. Cut that tree, make that tree a drum, or make a drum out of that tree. So the advisors, okay, or the guards, chopped that tree down, and a drum was created. When the king, okay, the king summons, okay, his musicians to use the drum. Okay, what happened was, as the drum being sound, okay, the sound is not your usual drum sound. It is the sound of one of the advisors who basically tell to the tree that the king eat pig food. The king eat pig food. That is the sound that comes. All right. And the king was very, very ashamed. The drum was thrown away, and the king called every one of his entourage, who basically blew up the story. Nobody says anything. Okay? So the king says, next time I'm not going to take all of you out, I'm going out on my own. Okay. Now, the moral of the story here is that, according to the person who tells the story to me, is that you got to be careful of holding secrets. Now, this is how I want to tell you the story. I wanted feedbacks from you. How do you feel about the story? Do you think that the character is developed? Do you think that the plot is clear? Do you think that you got the story entirely? Anyone? I need feedbacks, whether you can use the chat or you can open up your mic.
Give feedback to please, student.
Jangan malu, jangan segan. Tak ada, I think mungkin possibly you are still in the process of warming up, don't worry. Okay, let's move on. Okay, crafting and crafting an immersive setting. Now, once you have built your characters, okay, you got to create a setting. Okay, setting story yang kamu nak buat tu, okay, kat mana? Okay, whether it's your own home or whether it's in your campus or the story starts with your classroom. Okay, so setting which is well crafted, okay, will add atmosphere and context to your story. Now you got to describe the environment. Okay, you got to use sensory details like sight, sound, and smell to immerse the reader. Be specific instead of things which are general. Okay, use vivid details to make the setting feel real, and then you support the mood by matching the setting with the tone of the story. Like for example, if you wanted to talk about, if you want to write about, something which is suspense, for example, okay, you can use a stormy night as your setting. Okay. That next is conflict and resolution. Now, conflict is the driving force of the story, and the resolution provides closure. Now, key types of conflict, they are man-to-man, conflict between two characters, okay, man against nature, say for example, struggles of man against natural forces, man versus self, the internal struggles within the character, and man versus society, conflicts with societal norms or expectations. Okay, now next is theme. Now theme is the deeper meaning or message that the story conveys. Okay, this is what readers take away after reading. Now you got to identify your theme very, very early. You have to decide what you want your readers to learn or to experience. And then you got to weave the theme into the plot. Show, don't just tell. Okay. Next is you got to keep it consistent. Ensure actions, conflicts, and resolutions align with the theme. Now, I got two sets of godparents. Okay, I got Indian godparents and I got Chinese godparents. So there is this story that the last Deepavali, okay, my amma basically told me that my godfather, okay, Mr. Rama, did something very, very interesting at the temple. So Amma told me, Aboy, which is what Amma will call me, Aboy, do you know what your Appa did at the temple? Yenna ma, what he did at the temple now. We went to the temple last week, okay, together. It's very difficult to get him on the to go to temple with me. Okay, and then so when we are praying, I overheard your Appa pray to God. Oh my God, one time only. If I strike lucky, I will give the temple $20,000. So Amma kept quiet. Amma said, I keep quiet. On the way back, I asked, what do you pray lah? I pray, if I go and buy the lottery, if I got lucky, I strike lucky, I'll give the temple $20,000. Amma said, so much. Appa said, I bluff only. They all cackled into laughter. Okay. So over here, okay, in this story, okay, I basically explains the character one by one. All right. Okay, let's move on to next one, writing with emotions. Now, when you are writing, okay, you got to put your emotions in. Okay, emotions basically connects the readers into the characters and the events in your story, making it more impactful. All right. Number one, you got to show your emotions. Use actions and dialogue to express how the character feels. Next, you got to create empathy. Okay. Put the reader into the character's shoes. Okay. And then use sensory details. Engage the reader's senses to intensify emotions. Next, dialogue and voice. Now, if you tell a story as it is, like what I've been doing, okay, I'm not a good storyteller anyway, but I try. Okay, at least I try. Okay, if let's say that if I'm a good storyteller, I might want to change my profession. From a lecturer, I wanted to become a stand-up comedian. Being a stand-up comedian is very interesting, and gives more money. More money to become a lecturer. Okay, as a lecturer, I get to take PhD, and then as I take my PhD, you look at my hair. Most of them are gone. Okay, and then I'm not being paid much. So it's better for me to become stand-up comedian. Now, now what I said just now, okay, I give some depth, okay, I change my tone, all right, I speak a little bit fast, okay, so that gives, okay, most of you basically, this is the first time that you saw me, so you might have some perception of what sort of a person that gives the webinar today, all right? So this is what character, this is what emotions, and this is what dialogue and voice is all about. The trick here is to put it in writing. All right? And that is the most important part. Okay, let's move on. Now next, get writing. Okay? So once you have planned all that, okay, the first thing that you should do is you brainstorm your ideas. Think about your characters, conflicts, and setting. Next, you got to have a plot. Outline the plot. Okay, what happens to the main character? Okay, first the main character is walking down the street. And then suddenly the main character saw a beautiful girl. Wow, the girl is so beautiful. Okay, next. As the main character tries to cross the road, he steps on a cow dung, and then he said, "Oh my God!" Okay, so outline your plot. Next, then once you have a clear structure, and so on and so forth. Okay, then you have a clear structure. You write your first draft. Okay, in the first draft, you don't have to worry about perfection. Focus about getting all your ideas down into writing. The next step will be revise and edit. Refine your story, focusing on clarity, pacing, and emotional impact. And then, of course, if time permits, okay, get feedback. Share your work with others for constructive criticism. Okay. Now let's move on to the common mistakes to avoid. Okay, when you are writing a narrative piece, okay, when you are writing a story, okay, the first thing that you should avoid is you got to avoid flat characters. Flat characters means that I was walking down the street and then I saw Abu, and then I greeted, "Hi Abu." Abu said, "Hi Akong." That character has no depth. Okay, who is Akong? Who is the person that tells the story? Okay, who is the person that he greets? Okay, what sort of person he or she is? Okay. Next, you tell, don't show. Okay, you tell. It is just like trying to tell a story. All right. Okay. Don't tell the reader how the character feels. Show it through actions, but in writing. Okay. As I saw that piece of paper, I feel sad. One way of doing it. Okay. Let's tell. Don't show. Okay. The first one is showing. The second one. Okay. As I look at the piece of paper, Tears ran down my eyes. The second one, that one is telling. The first one is showing. Okay. The next common mistake that you should avoid is overcomplicating the plot. Keep the plot clear and focused. Okay, do not have too many subplots. As I walk along the street, okay, and then I saw McDonald's, I saw KFC, I saw Starbucks. Too much, man. Okay, keep focus on the plot, the main story. And then finally, the common mistake to avoid is lack of conflict. Conflict must be at the central part of the plot. Without conflict, the story is meaningless or the story will be bland. Right? Are you clear so far? Are you following? All right. Okay, I'm going to skip the story about three little pigs. Okay, because I wanted to show you a video on how anyone knows the story about three little pigs. The three little pigs and a wolf. Okay. I couldn't get the video. I did actually record a video on it, as a matter of fact. But it is a very nice story. Okay, let's skip that. Okay, all right. Now we are going towards the end, but it is not the end yet. Okay. Now, basically, when you are trying to write a story, it is an art. Okay? Same goes with storytelling. Sometimes when I start my lecture, okay, I always start with things that I experienced the night before. Like for example, there is one time I had drinks with my friends in Bangsa. Okay, we got our usual spot, and there is one story that we cackle into laughter, and that would basically go the first thing in my next class tomorrow morning. Okay, so even I myself, I'm still learning in order to master the craft of storytelling. Okay, same goes with when you wanted to write about it. Okay, I would say that number one, you got to write more. Okay, just like you got to practice. Okay, when it comes to writing, okay, practice will make perfect. Okay, don't just rely on what exercises that you will get in classes. Okay, you got to start on your own. Okay, you've got quite a number of platforms these days. Okay, you can write stories in Twitter, which is now called X, or maybe you can type in your social media and whatnot. Okay, and then the next one is you got to read widely or read extensively. Okay, study other writers to see how they craft their stories. I remember when I was in the university. Okay, and that was the first time that well, of course, being in the university, it's always first time on almost everything. Okay, I took literature when I was in the university, and my status as an English reader at that time landed me to a person called Naguib Mahfouz. Okay, he is an Egyptian writer, and he's very well known in the art of storytelling in the Egyptian literature. Okay, so I studied his novels. Okay, he wrote a trilogy, and then I came across someone called Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and his book titled 100 Years of Solitude. Managed to, well, I went to Kinokuniya because back then, if you want to read, you got to buy a book. Now you can get e-books and whatnot, which is far more easier. All right. I managed to get a copy of 100 Years in Solitude, and it turned out to be that it is one of my favorite books, and a copy will always be on my bedside. in my room. I would have a bedside table, and on that table there is always 100 Years of Solitude and Sugar Street by Naguib Mahfouz. Okay, to whenever I need to read, these two books will always accompany me, and it doesn't bore me. Okay, I would always read all over again until last year in December. Okay, Netflix shows 100 Years of Solitude in Netflix, and I watch it, and yes, the art of storytelling needs you to read extensively, and you got to be patient. Okay, of course, say for example, in your tasks, okay, in your task, you might have crunch not much time, but allow your story to develop. Okay, even though that you are running out of time, but still do not rush the process. But of course, you need to expedite matters, but do not just simply take a piece of paper and start writing. No. Okay, plan. Okay, and slowly write. Not slowly meaning to say that you don't write like one word every minute. You got to write at least 50, 60 words a minute. Okay, I'm not sure what is the current rate now. Okay, but that is how I was asked to write back then when I was in the university. Okay. Okay, story number 7 is linked to the next slide, the end. Okay, now I would like to open question and answers. Anyone who wants to ask questions, go ahead.
Any questions, guys?
Nak tanya bahasa Melayu pun boleh, tak ada masalah.
No question.
No question, semua faham lah kot.
Hopefully that's the case lah.
Hopefully. Oh, don't worry, I got this all the time. 127 students. I will be getting 179 students this Saturday for my online class, for my weekend students. And every single time I ask, do you have any questions? Everyone will keep quiet. The moment I end the session, my WhatsApp will keep on ding, 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 ding until the night. Sir, can I know this? Can I know that?
That is
Okay,
true.
Malu kot. Jangan malu dengan saya.
Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Salam.
If it's not too much lah, can you just share a bit about 100 Years of Solitude? The gist only, Doctor.
Okay.
Thank you.
100 Years of Solitude. I do have the piece somewhere. I did actually wrote about it quite some time ago. Oh yes. Now, 100 Years of Solitude is basically, I would say, magnum opus for Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Okay. Basically, what he wrote is basically a window into understanding human essence and collective history. Basically, it is a story about a family, and if you look at the plot, well, being an English reader, it is one of the plots that I admire so much. Okay, the genre used is basically magic realism. Okay, and it is basically a multi-generation story. All right, founded in a fictitious town. You see, when Marquez got the idea of writing the story in one of the occasions where he went out with his family. He's quite well known of having mistresses. So there is a time whereby he went out with his family for a vacation, and along the way he came across this town, and that is where Marquez got the idea of writing the story. Okay, basically it tells a story about the Bundia family. It starts from where the town was formed and then the family developed. Okay, so I would say that in order to know more, okay, I am not I am not I would say giving an advertisement of Netflix. Go to Netflix and watch the series, and you will be mesmerized. And I would say that the one in Netflix now, which is I would say that that is the closest representation of what you will get in the book. But as an English reader, to be honest with you, I prefer the book. I remember when the Lord of the Rings, okay, was aired in the screens. Okay, the first thing that I did was I didn't go to the theaters and watch the film. Okay, I read all the trilogies first, which is painstaking, and then I watched the movie or all the three films, and I tell you, it was mesmerizing. I hope that that gives you an idea of what the story is all about. Ada soalan lain?
Students, please check the chat box there. So you need to fill in your attendance here.
Okay.
So that's a question there.
All right. What do you think of today's generation narrative writing? Is there any pattern that stands out with you? Now, I would like to use my own students as an example. Okay. If we go back to the slides, okay, into the one moment. The common mistakes, okay. I would say that today's students, okay, my students that I'm facing now, okay, the pattern that I saw is that most of the stories that they tell, the characters are very flat. Okay, the characters are flat. The plot is there. The plot is there. The plot is not overtly complicated. Okay, I would say that today's my students, when they tell me a story or when they report to me something, okay, the plot is very simple, okay, but the thing is the characters are not clear. The characters are very flat. Okay, sometimes the characters are not vague, as a matter of fact. Okay, so when you are writing, okay, say for example, I got one example here. Okay, say in 100 words, okay, and you was asked, the moment my mother said to me, what matters most is your safety. Then I realized that, okay, now I think this is a very common task will be to be given to students. Okay, you will be given one sentence and then you get to start the story. All right. Now, say for example, you are writing 100 words, okay, 80 to 100 words, okay. Number one, don't go for an over complicated plot. Okay, what matters is your safety. Only then I realized that. Okay, give me 30 seconds to think. The moment my mother said to me, what matters most is your safety, only then I realized that I did not turn off the switch in my room. I was charging my phone, my laptop, and my power bank at the same time. It occurs to me, oh my God, what if, let's say, there is a short circuit? The house will go on fire. What will happen to us? Nampak tak? Ini ni saya baru a few sentence, okay? This is narrative writing. You are telling a story. Okay? So kenapa saya cerita, kenapa saya story, walaupun saya tak pandai bercerita, tapi kenapa saya tell a story, berapa cerita saya bagi dengan ending tak adanya. Okay? Why? Because the art of storytelling, okay, penting when you wanted to write narrative writing. Okay, without the art of storytelling, your story will just become a police report. Saya memandu kereta saya di Jalan Pahang. Tiba-tiba sebuah kereta menghalang laluan saya break kereta saya tak sempat nak break, saya langgar kereta depan saya. Itulah laporan saya. Sekian, dimaklumkan. It's very flat. Okay. That is one time the same task, okay, what I give to my students was my own police report of an accident, and I want them to get into group, okay, for about 20 minutes, okay, 20-30 minutes, okay, for them to brainstorm, and then I want them to tell me the story as what they read in the police report. Okay, it's quite interesting as a matter of fact. I wish we got the time. I told Mr. Azlan that is there any way that we can get a physical session? I would love to come to Melaka and we can have some sort of a small workshop, okay, on narrative writing. Okay, I hope this is Miss Nur Yasmin. I hope that that answers your question. Is there any other questions? Come on, guys. I'm a person that needs input from you guys. Without input from you guys, I don't know what to tell you. Ada soalan-soalan lain? Yes.
Hello, Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, my name is Azrina Abu Bakar. Okay, I'd like to ask you, okay, what do you think about stories with a hanging ending? Does it make the story less in value? Thank you, Doctor.
All right, okay. Throughout my readings over the years, okay, storytellers, okay, they have their own style, okay, they have their own style. I remember Najib Mahfuz, okay, let me spell it out. Okay. He is, I would say, the Egyptian writer which I adore so much. Right, I even during my studies, I even got the chance to contact his daughter. He passed away when I was studying, so I managed to email his daughter, and she provided me quite a number of things on his insights and whatnot. There is one story that he wrote by the title of Al-Lis wal Kilab, the thief and dogs. Okay, Kilab is the jamak or the plural of dogs. Al-Lis is the colloquial word to describe thief. So in that novella or short novel, he ended the story of the thief, which is the central character, okay, of the story, okay, walking away from the police that will which has drawn guns at the thief. So he just walked away. Okay, when I read that story at first. Hey, this is a hanging ending. Of course, well, I tried a hanging story just now, and some of you are not satisfied with the ending. Okay, that is what I felt. But then again, as I read the story again and I began to analyze the characters, I realized that the writer um, tries to let the readers to decide what sort of ending that you want. Okay, it doesn't make the story less interesting. However, number one, it requires years of practice, okay, lots of writing in order to get that writing style. That's number one. Number two, if let's say that the plot is clear, the character is colorful enough, is well developed, got depth, okay, then you will lead the readers. You use the plot in order to lead the readers into your hanging ending that make your readers to think, right? It's like black comedy. Okay, comedy these days are very much like the Maharaja Lawak and whatnot, that you would laugh on the spot at the joke, whereas true quality, true black humor is where you would chuckle or you may not laugh when you heard the joke, but as you are doing something else a day after that or on your way back, you would have the aha moment. Lah, itu ke yang dia nak cakap? And then you will cackle to laughter. Okay, so but let's focus back to your task. Okay, say for example in the examination you are given say about 30 minutes in order to write 100 words. Okay, on narrative writing. Okay, it is best on the safe side for you to have a properly developed ending. Kalau tidak, takut tak dapat markah pula kan. Alright. Okay, one Alicia, what kind of introduction of a short story you think that would make the readers want to read it? Okay, how do I write it to make more readable? Alright, okay, let's look at folklores and fairy tale. Okay, once upon a time, in a far, far away land, okay, when those kind of introductions being introduced to me when I was like 5-6 years old, I would feel mesmerized. Oh, satu ketika dulu, okay, di satu tempat yang jauh nun di sana, okay, when I grew up, okay, I could relate to it, okay. But nowadays, okay, in order to get your readers to engage with you, you need to know your readers. Okay, your readers ni orang yang macam mana? Okay, for example, okay, writing style, okay, you can engage dengan you punya, say for example, your target, okay, is your own age group. For example, the young adults, say 18 to 24, for example. Okay, so kalau you punya target reader you 18 to 24, you would not start your short story by telling once upon a time in a far, far away land. Okay, you will not start your short story with Al-Kisah Tayyib. Okay, you might want to use another approach. Okay, that approach should be able to engage your readers. Okay, I leave it to you to use your creative faculty in order to come out with that sort of introduction. But I would say that I could basically tell you what's the process, and on the writing part, it's all about the writer. Okay, I hope Wan Alisha that answers your question. Any more questions? Come on. Feel free to ask. Okay. Jangan malu, jangan segan. Soalan? Ada soalan?
Assalamualaikum.
Salam.
Okay, related to the previous questions, okay, does it mean that it is not necessary for the narrative writing to follow the story mountain? Because as we know, most of the stories can we have a specific story mountain for that. So
Okay.
it is not necessary for the narrative
Okay.
writing.
Okay, story writing. Okay, the narrative mountain tu, are we talking about the free text module?
I mean the basic one, the standard lah. We have
Correct.
exposition,
Okay.
the rising
So that
action.
means it is something like a free text module. Okay.
Yeah.
Free text module. Okay. Okay. The basics. Okay. Narrative writing 101. Okay. You boleh gunakan the story mountain. Okay. You boleh gunakan kalau dalam theater kita panggil free text module. Okay. Dalam plot is free text module. Free text module kita I don't have a board with me. Okay, it is about kalau katakan ada physical tu memang I would like be here and there. Okay, the mountain or the free text module tu dia bermula dengan introduction. Okay, kemudian kita ada rising action. Okay, at the peak tu kita ada climax, and then kita ada downfall ataupun kita ada down action, dan finally kita ada denouement ataupun resolution. Okay, kita boleh gunakan the story mountain tu sebagai our basic. Tapi kalau sekiranya untuk for those writers who are already having the basics, okay, you can begin to explore other techniques of creating a plot. But for basic writers, narrative writing 101, you can use the free text module or the writing mountain as we call it. Okay, I hope Puan Rashikin that answers the question.
Yes. Thank you very much, Dr.
Alright, okay. Ada soalan lain? Tanya je, jangan malu, jangan segan.
Assalamualaikum Doktor.
Salam.
Doktor,
Apa khabar Dr. Fazlinda?
janganlah macam tu. Doktor, boleh tak Doktor sentuh sikit berkenaan dengan the assessment that the students will sit for LCC 111 tu, the narrative writing tu. Doktor ada tak dia punya soalan tu?
Ada. Tadi I ada cerita rasanya. Yang saya cerita pasal the moment my mother said to me, what matters the most is your safety, and only then I realised that.
Macam mana students kan with limited number of words, normally when you talk about stories kan, it's although it's a short story, biasanya dia panjang kan, tapi with limited number of words ni, macam mana these students dia boleh because examiners will read like many stories from them. How to actually make their stories interesting, meaning when the examiners read, oh okay, these students can actually write a good story in limited time, because normally when you write narrative writing, it deals with your inspiration, right? You take time, ilham, ada idea ke nak tulis ke tidak, but they have to like write this in just a short time. It's a test, right? So
Yeah, correct.
article tu.
Okay, basically crunching time, 80 ke 100 patah perkataan, we should have like what, 30 minutes, maybe possibly 40, no more than that. So how to create a good story in about 30 to 40 minutes? Okay, number one, bila kita dapat task tu, fahamkan betul-betul task tu apa, especially the ayat yang dia beri yang belah atas. Okey. Contoh yang saya ada kat sini, okay, the moment my mother said to me, what matters most is your safety, then only I realized that. You kena bermula daripada situ. Okay, crunching time, the first one is you create a short plot. Okay, karakter yang ada ialah you, your mother. Itu yang diberi dalam task. Okay, number one, dalam story ni, should you include your mother ataupun you alone? Okay, so kita kembali balik kepada plot tadi. Okay, plot tadi, okay, kalau katakanlah man versus man, conflict between two characters, sempat tidak kita tulis dalam 80 ke 1 patah perkataan? Kedua, man against versus nature, sempat tak kita buat? Okay, kalau contoh soalan yang dibagi kepada saya ni oleh Cik Azlan, alright, focus on man versus self, bermaksud the storyteller dengan diri sendiri. Okay, sebagai contoh yang saya bagi tadi, what matters most is your safety, then I realized that I did not turn the switch in my room. Oh my God. Second sentence. I realized that I am charging my laptop, my mobile phone, and my power bank at the same time. I remembered the talk that we had in school about safety precautions using electrical items. Then I quickly rushed back to my room and I found that everything is in order. Oh, thank God. But as I touch my power bank and my laptop, it's very, very hot. I switched every single switch off. I terminated the charging. Mother was right. Let's say if she did not remind me about my safety, I wouldn't remember it and things can happen. I just do it out of the blue, okay? Meaning to say that saya tak prepare apa-apa, okay? So di situ hopefully lah, kalau kita ada 100 words to crunch and you got 30 minutes, okay, pilih konflik dan juga resolution yang sesuai. Plot jangan terlalu complicated, okay. And of course karakter kita lah, karakter means kalaupun kita bercerita tentang diri kita, okay, tak semestinya karakter kita akan jadi flat, okay. Karakter kita boleh to be in depth, okay, dengan cara kita gunakan words, okay, the imageries that we use and so on. I hope Dr. Fazlinda ia menjawab soalan.
Yes, excellent. You are a natural storyteller. You could just made up the stories just now. Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Sophyan.
Alright, okay. Ada soalan-soalan lain, student-student yang nak tanya? See, I'm very much open kalau if let's say that say for example a short 1 day, 2 hour or 4 hour or 3 hours punya short bengkel physical, I don't mind. As a matter in fact, my dean who got to know about this webinar for today, my dean actually told me, are you going to Melaka? I said no, it's going to be online. And then my dean told me, if let's say that if you need to go, just go, no problem. As a matter in fact, kami di MUST juga, we are also looking forward for collaborations with other universities as well. Because over there, I could see and meet other language lecturers and teachers, and of course we can share our methods and as well as we share our experience as well. Ada soalan-soalan lain?
FEC 3.1 students, I'm sure that you all have attempted to answer past semesters questions before this. So any difficulties, any problems that you might have encountered as you wrote as you attempted the paper that you want to address today? Oh, ni ada soalan.
Oh, wow. Wow. Ni as-su'al al-muhimmah. Okay, as-su'al al-muhimmah. Any tips to combat blank or lack of idea in the middle of writing? I think we call this the writer's block. Okay, the writer's block ni, I think it can happen to anyone, even me as a matter in fact. There is one point during the pandemic, okay, I was in the middle of my chapter 5 in my PhD, and that is where it starts. You cannot go anywhere much, you cannot do anything much, and I try to crunch my words, okay, by trying my best to complete the PhD, and it didn't work. Okay, I still didn't work. I got writer's block. Okay, ini saya cerita bukan dalam exam dulu, dan kita kembali balik kepada exam task yang tadi itu. Baik, kalau katakan you are writing, okay, say narrative writing, you wanted to write a short story or you wanted to write a novel, okay, whenever that you are blank, okay, you are lacking of ideas, okay, in the middle of you are writing something, okay, take a short break, okay, relax, okay, calm yourself down. Maybe if you got the time, read something else, do something else. If possible, try to relate it to what you are writing. Okay. Now, if let's say that dalam masa 30-40 minit you buat task tu, tiba-tiba you blank. Okay. Cara yang saya boleh cadangkan, ini salah satu cadangan sajalah ya. Okay. Fikirkan tentang you guys dekat hostel ke ataupun dekat rumah ke, the last time someone told you a story, ataupun the last Insta story yang you tengok dekat your mobile phone, ataupun the last TikTok live yang you tengok. Okay, think about it, tutup mata, think about it. Okay, what yang apa benda yang you buat sebelum you masuk dalam exam tu contohnya. Tutup mata sekejap, fikirkan. Why? Because you nak, ini salah satu cara untuk you untuk clearkan, okay, dengan bukan relax, tenang, and then fikir on whatever that you did before. Mungkin pada masa itu you might get back. And then also, okay, now writer's block ni kadang-kadang dia berlaku apabila sama ada plot yang kita buat itu, plot yang kita rangka itu, dia terlalu complicated. Okay, selalunya begitu. Okay, kalau plot dia simple, okay, mak aku cakap macam ni, lepas tu aku teringat, alamak aku tak tutup pelak. Aduh, dah lah hostel, kejap hostel 20 kilo kot. Ya alamak aku kena balik hostel lah ni. Okay, another way of doing it is that you ulang balik you punya plot yang you dah rangka tu dalam kepala otak you. Then mungkin idea untuk write some more tu ada. Okay, hopefully Nur Aisyah ia boleh membantulah. Itu kalau cara saya lah, ataupun saya cerita dengan student-student saya. Harap ia membantu. Come on, ada soalan-soalan lain? Go ahead. Tanya. Okay.
Actually, Dr. Sophyan, I agree with you when you said that whenever that you have your writer's block and you stop writing and then you just try to read something else. Right, because one of my students, she's writing short stories for her final year project, and I last few weeks, and she texted me and she said that Madam, I actually have writer's block. I don't know what to write. Okay, I don't have any inspiration. So I said to her, oh, okay, I think you should stop writing and do something else. And then when she came back and see me last week, if I'm not mistaken, and then I asked her, what did you do to actually handle your to manage your writer's block? And then she said that actually I stopped writing. I read other people's work, and
Okay.
that actually really helped me to what do you call it to solve my writer's block, because I got inspiration from other writers and I saw how they write. Okay, and actually it really helped me. So I agree whatever that you said just now. I agree with that, because actually she has done that and it worked.
Yes, fantastic. This story reminds me of Ian Fleming. Ian Fleming is the author of the famous James Bond. So when he wrote Casino Royale, he went for a vacation to Bahamas, if I'm not mistaken. Bahamas, I think he went to Bahamas. So, like writers like that, okay, in order for them to write, they need, like, inspiration. They need, the setting must be right. Even some writers, I remember a friend of mine, um, we we went for a trip to Pulau Lang Tengah in Terengganu. Okay, I noticed that in his luggage, okay, dia ada bawa dia punya bag laptop. Saya tanya kenapa? Adalah. Okay, rupa-rupanya dia nak start writing dia punya thesis lah pada masa tu. So ada setengah writers, okay, ada setengah penulis, dia akan mencari satu setting yang terbaik untuk tulis. Now writer's block ni, it can happen to anyone at any time. Students, sama ada tengah buat final year project FYP, ataupun masa tengah exam. So contohnya kita jawab apa-apa subjek exam lah, especially yang theoretical subjects. Okay, kalau sekiranya keputusan idea, okay, tutup mata, tenang dulu. Okay, dalam masa kita tutup mata itulah mungkin dengan harapan apa yang kita baru baca tadi sebelum kita masuk exam hall tu, insya-Allah mungkin keluar balik. It's some sort of a, you kena ada some sort of a reset button. Reset button tu terpulang kepada masing-masing. Other writers or other people may have another way of doing it. Okay.
Correct. Reset button, yes.
Ada ke soalan-soalan lain yang nak ditanya? Okay. Alright. Okay. This is a good one. Soal muhimmah. Is it possible to have all elements that you mentioned in only 100 words? The answer is yes. Okay. It's possible to have the elements mentioned in my lecture just now in 100 words. Yes. But it is whether it's which part that you wanted to show the most. Baik. Mungkin if let's say a first person, okay, you are writing as a first person, you are writing about yourself. Okay, mungkin you tak dapat nak develop your characters further. Tapi you nak fokus kat mana? You nak fokus kat konflik ataupun okay, plot kena basic lah. Basic, dia tak complicated sangat. Tapi in 100 words tu, mungkin you boleh fokus on the character, ataupun you boleh fokus on the events, ataupun you boleh fokus on conflict. Contoh yang saya bagi yang out of the blue stories yang impromptu tadi tu, saya fokus kepada konflik diri, man versus self. Boleh contohnya. Okay, it's possible to have all elements, but you got to stay focused on one of the things which can basically make your 100 words tu interesting enough for Mr. Azlan or Dr. Faz in order to give full 10 marks ke 9.5 marks ke. Allahu a'lam. I hope that answers the question, Nurul Anis. Any more questions?
I think we can take one or two more questions and
Yes.
then we can conclude the session. But so is there any more questions?
Tanyalah 2 lagi. Udi tak tanya.
Ah,
Nak tanya pasal saya pun boleh.
you can ask him about Mercedes Benz, old Mercedes Benz.
Yeah,
That
okay.
is my old man.
If I start to talk about old cars, I think our session might end at 5 p.m. Ada soalan lain?
Any more questions?
Okay, say for example, you nak start on practicing yourself in order to tell a story. Okay, this can be an exercise that you can do on your own. Okay, you start, okay, mengelamun, berfikir, lepas ni aku nak buat apa ya? Okay, lepas ni habis je kelas ni, okay, lepas webinar ni, saya tutup laptop, okay, masuk dalam beg, kemudian saya akan kunci pintu kelas, saya akan terus pergi kereta, start kereta dan terus balik ke rumah. On the way balik ke rumah tu, saya akan lalu Kerinci Link. Lepas tu Kerinci Link tu, sebelum tu Penchala Link. Penchala Link tu ada tunnel, ada terowong. Lepas tu Kerinci Link. Mesti sangkut jam dekat Mid Valley. Lepas tu saya kena buat U-turn masuk ke jalan lama. Nampak tak apa saya buat? Okay, saya plan. Saya nak balik ni. Saya nak balik, jadi saya plan perjalanan saya balik. Okay, start with that. Kemudian you add, okay, sequence dah ada, you letak plot. Okay, cerita dia ialah perjalanan saya balik ke rumah, my journey back home. Okay, what are the conflicts that you wanted to put in? Okay, on the Freitag module tu, okay, on the story mountain tu, dia punya climax dia apa? Then baru you boleh start to frame your story. Okay, itu kalau on the longer run lah. Tapi kalau sekiranya untuk exam, let's focus on the paper yang contoh dia bagi kepada saya tu, you got to think fast. So cara yang terbaik ialah, as the last question yang saya jawab tu, is there possible that to have all elements being mentioned in 100 words? The answer is yes, but you got to focus on one. Adakah you nak fokus kepada karakter? Okay, adakah you nak fokus kepada konflik ataupun resolution, ataupun you nak fokus kepada tema, team? Okay, kadang-kadang team dia subtle saja, tapi macam contoh yang impromptu story yang saya buat tu, saya fokus kepada konflik between diri saya dan saya sendiri. Saya terlupa tutup. Lepas tu bila mak cakap tu, alamak, atau bakar bilik aku kang. Okay, so boleh kita buat. Cuma thinking time tu kena cepat sikit lah. Tapi tapi kalau sekiranya you ada masa, say for example, it is for your FYP ke, mungkin you boleh ambil masa sikit. Do not rush when it comes to the planning stage. But seriously, once you dah start menulis, you will be non-stop. Okay, bila saya dah dapat saya punya rhythm untuk menaip saya punya thesis, dia non-stop. Saya tak makan, saya tak buat aktiviti lain, saya continue on sampai saya penat tu pun nak continue juga, tapi kejap, ini kan kalau aku stop kat sini kan continue lagi. Okay, so I think yang mana yang dah bergelar doktor macam Faz and so on, I think the writer's block tu happen, tapi once kita dah start writing, dia akan tak non-stop, insyaAllah, biiznillah. Kalau tak ada apa-apa, I think saya serahkan semula kepada Sir Azlan.
Doktor?
Ya.
Okay. Just to share something, okay, but I do not know lah whether true ke tak kan. Just based on my experience, before this, I did my degree in linguistics, and then that's when I started to get interested lah in literature. Sebenarnya I really hate reading.
Okay.
So but because of terpaksa, okay, during my degree time lah, okay, and then masa tu memang dah hantar dah proposal untuk buat master lah, um, by research. So masa tu dah cari dah supervisor and everything lah, and then lepas tu after that I try to get some advice lah from the seniors, and they said that one thing yang it makes me fikir balik betul ke tidak. Dia kata kenapa you nak buat literature? I kata because I feel it is very interesting. Okay, and then I kata boleh explore more kan. Tapi dia kata but it will be very dangerous because in literature there's no right and wrong, and then there's no what I say macam kita tak ada ending. So it will be very dangerous lah. Okay, so I masa tu, and then after that I've been offered a scholarship. So lepas tu pun to make things easier so and then yang offered program pun memang dia focus on linguistics lah, not in literature. So masa tu pun I terpaksa lah tukar, but still actually I'm still itulah think about that, either it is true that literature ni is quite dangerous because we don't have the specific ending. So macam linguistic kita ada kita ada borders kan, ada specific borders for that, but not for literature. Okay. So what do you think, Dr.?
For literature ni betul, because there's no right and wrong, and when you wanted to end your write-up, whether it's a thesis or whether it's a short story or a novella, okay, it comes back to our storytelling skill, our narrative skill. Okay, adakah kita nak biarkan the conclusion to open supaya other researchers boleh catch up, satu, ataupun you nak readers tu sendiri yang at the end, okay, come out with your own conclusion. But kalau PhD tak boleh buat itu kan. But like when I wrote my conclusion for my research, okay, I did actually mention that I am ending this research this way so that other researchers can basically take the mantle and continue on. I think itu kata penerus kita punya research.
Okay, thank you, Dr.
So hopefully itu menjawab soalan saya.
Okay.
Dr. Sophyan, maybe you can talk about a little bit about your thesis. Interesting, literature, right?
I buat literature and sociology. Okay. I basically look into servile mentality, okay, mentality hamba, okay, dalam as per represented in Malaysian literature. Mentality hamba as per represented in Malaysian literature, sorry, not Malay literature, Malaysian literature, both in English and in other languages. Okay. Contohnya green, Lloyd Fernando's green as the colour.
Green is the colour.
Green is the colour. Kalau kita perasan ada satu watak datuk dalam tu. Okay, and also in other forms of media, contohnya other forms of media as well are also touched in my thesis. Okay, contohnya Datuk Sahab. Kalau katakan cerita Melayu ni tak ada Datuk, tak ada Tan Sri, susah, tak boleh laku, tak boleh jual. Okay, and kenapa bangsa kita, kenapa rakyat Malaysia, okay, dia perlu ada this servile mentality hamba ni. Why? So I basically look into that, and I tag it together with the honour system. whereby kita honor system ni was considered as a feudal system kan, kita ada Datuk lah, Datuk Seri lah and what not, and kita model our honor system ni dengan sistem yang berada di UK, alright, whereby people in the UK or people in the West, they don't really look into pangkat dan juga darjat, tapi kita yang I would say the developing countries, or I would say that we can put ourselves into the post-co punya scope, post-colonial punya scope. In post-colonial Malaysia, we still have this feudalism, we still have this servant mentality, serval mentality yang kita menunduk atas orang lain. So that is the gist of my research.
Oh, Dr. Sophyan, now I understand why do you always keep hush-hush about your doctorate.
Yeah.
Actually, it's related to your thesis, eh?
Yeah, it is very sensitive sebenarnya. Very sensitive. Ada beberapa feedback yang tak berapa nak cantik lah berkenaan dengan my thesis sebenarnya. And I tak buat kat sini.
Yeah.
Kalau buat dekat Universiti Malaysia mati tak lepas.
Okay, alright.
Quite critical lah towards our society.
Yeah, because it's a critic.
Yes,
on
it's
our own
basically a
society.
social critic. It's a social critic. And when I decide to do that, that is where I decide not to do it in any local universities. Even Sharifah Munira pun adik pada Syed Farid Alatas, she actually mentioned jangan buat kat sini, bahaya.
Okay, alright. Interesting to know.
Alright.
Thank you, Doctor.
Alright, okay.
Doctor, one more.
Okay.
Is it similar with sarcasm? Something that, I mean, because I remember my initial proposal for my master, I did something on sarcasm. I do not know either you know Saleh bin Jonet?
Yes, Saleh bin Jonet, correct.
Okay, he is my relative.
Okay.
So I initially I did something lah, okay, on his because he critiques a lot, right, in her in his need. And then one of his daughter also contact me, but she's in Australia actually. Okay, so dia pun mention, dia kata kalau dekat Malaysia ni tak ramai, tak berani orang nak buat benda tu sebenarnya. So itulah, like you said, it would be kalau nak buat something on that, social critics and something, so we have to do outside lah, sebab kita kat sini quite sensitive on that, right?
That is extremely true. Saleh bin Jonet ni, dia seorang sosok yang sangat lucky. I would say he is very lucky.
Yes.
You know why? Because he, with his column As I Like It, in News Straight Time, he can be a loose cannon.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the time whereby kita punya, actually back in the 80s, 70s and 80s, our freedom of speech is much more higher in value compared to now.
Yeah.
Sekarang ni kalau sekiranya you come up with a critique ataupun with one opinion, okay, dalam social media dia akan ada bazooka, semua keluar. Semua orang akan hentam kita. Tapi back then, in order for you to reach Saleh bin Jonet, kalau katakan you baca dia punya, I suka baca dia punya kolom tu sebenarnya. I went to the archives of NST and I read his columns one by one. It's very interesting. Kalau you ada masa, I think I ada contact dekat NST. Mungkin kalau I boleh dapatkan you untuk, kalau you nak baca dia punya kolom dia memang banyak, and it's basically on print. So in order for you to get back to him untuk kritik balik komen dia, okay, you kena tulis, you kena write to NST, okay, so it takes time. So dulu things are a bit slow, and I think English language, and I would say English language is a privilege of few. dululah.
Mm-mm.
So sekarang ni I think more and more are well conversant with the language. Walaupun tak well conversant pun, janji sebab nak hentam, janji sebab nak komen, dia komen. So itu beza dulu dengan sekarang. So bila saya nak melihat the Malaysian society, I realise that bukanlah I takut, tapi I rasa lebih baik kita buat di luar, bagi saya lah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Dr.
Alright, okay, no problem. Thank you very much.
Doctor,
Yeah.
maybe next time we can have another round, maybe a workshop kot kat sini face to face. Rasanya tak cukup kalau tak ada hands on punya kan.
Ya, betul.
Yeah, not only for students to benefit, tapi our lecturers juga kat sini macam kami. We always receive invitation untuk send our creative work for publication from other campuses semua. Tapi we don't have the courage lah, Doktor, to confident untuk menulis cerita tu. Maybe mungkin another session kita boleh buat nanti face to face ya di sini.
Okay, boleh juga. On that saya nak quote Tan Tuan Eng. Do you know Tan Tuan Eng? Tan Tuan Eng dia tulis a few novels, okay? He is a celebrated writer, and Tan Tuan Eng dia orang Malaysia. Dia orang Penang. Okay, dia selalu balik Malaysia, dia akan divide his time London, South Africa and Malaysia. So Tuan Eng did actually mention to me when he first started writing, and he is not an English reader. Tuan Eng is not an English reader. I can't remember apa yang dia buat. Is he a bookmaker? He's an accountant. I can't remember dia punya feel asal dia waktu dia belajar. But he said to me that bila dia start writing, okay, dia pun tak confident juga, tapi he push himself as a writer. Kadang-kadang contohnya bila kita nak mencari pasangan, contohnya kadang-kadang orang reject, yang itu tu kena tahan lah. Tapi of course kita pun kena persiapkan diri kita juga. Okay, kita punya skills kita punya writing style kita, and of course I second that. Kalau ada a short workshop pun boleh juga. Okay, who knows, mungkin saya boleh bawa Professor Dr. Nur Faridah. Okay, she is also a writer. She wrote poems and short stories. She requires some mobility assistance, but to be honest, Dr. Faridah she is still sound in mind, and she would basically benefit. She can benefit you even further when it comes to creative writing. Dia punya level dah creative writing lah, level lagi tinggi sikit lagi. InsyaAllah, biiznillah.
InsyaAllah.
Ya, insyaAllah, Doktor, insyaAllah.
Okay, I guess that's all. Yeah. Or is there any more questions? No, Okay.
Tak ada kot.
Tak ada kot, Okay. So yeah, for as we have come to the end of the webinar, so I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for your attention, for your interaction with our speaker, with Dr. Sophyan, and then our heartfelt gratitude as well to Dr. Sophyan, for Organised online.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting, and I am, kalau ada lagi, I am very much welcome. Kalau ada lagi.
InsyaAllah ada je lagi. Okay, but before we end the session, I'd like to take a screenshot of everyone in here, where we might not get everyone, but everyone that is on the screen right now, please turn on your camera so that I can take a screenshot. Students, just for a while.
Where are the students? I can only see lecturers.
This one. Where's Azrina students ni sebenarnya? Afnan. Our Ustaz. Even the Ustaz is not here. Anybody? Can you please turn on your camera just for a while? I just need to take a screenshot for me to make a report. So I need to have at least half of the picture with the camera on.
My students, LG 1A, are you here? Turn on your camera.
Yes,
My
you want
students,
as well?
111J.
Please. Stephanie, I know Riz.
I guess some of the female students are scrambling to take their tudung or something.
Betul tudung dulu.
HM students, please turn on your camera if you're still here.
Kalau makeup tak sempat dah.
Boleh filter je doktor.
Just use the filter.
Cuma filter je.
Where are the others?
Students,
Ada.
Saya ada satu tabiat yang tak baik sebenarnya. Kalau contoh yang macam ni, what I will do is I will call every single name on the screen.
Ya.
Jangan buat.
If only that works. Okay lah ni. I cannot wait anymore for you guys.
Boleh lah.
Okay.
Buka sekejap je.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much.
Alright, thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you so much, doktor.
thank you Dr.
Okay.
Thank you so
Kalau ada
much.
salah silap saya minta maaf ya.
Okay. Okay, we'll end the meeting here, end the session. Thank you everyone.
Dia tak buka kamera, dia bagi.
This give this generation. This give